because word on the street is it is a fire sale in Atlanta. The Atlanta Hawks are looking to make crazy deals, make a lot of moves. Omar, I just wanted to ask you, how do you feel about that? Are there any players you feel are untouchable? And do you feel Trey Young is going to retire a Hawk? Because this is looking nasty.
That's a crazy leap. I'm not gonna lie. Saying somebody is touchable is crazy as well. But the name.
Aaron? Broski?
Hey, Sadiq Bey, touch that.
You know what I'm saying? Man, touchable.
Touch that. Touch it ASAP. Don't. The only thing that I really have to say about this trade deadline, for real, my God, Pascal Siakam better be good. Okay. Because the way that they are treating him right now, apparently, I know this is off Atlanta, but like Dallas kicked the tires. I can't remember. That's another team that kicked the tires too, but Sacramento. They all come back with the same report. Hey, it's just too expensive. I'm trying to think, what do they want for Pascal Siakam?
An all-star right there. Perennial all-star.
And I'm going to let y'all know, too, if come trade deadline day, there's an alert that says Atlanta Hawks, Pascal Siakam, I promise you, I will never fuck with NBA basketball ever again. Because if he's too expensive now, I can only imagine where he'll be closer to trade deadline. Honestly, all them sub 500 people can go. I hope we can trick somebody into buying the hype on DeJounte Murray. I'm mad that he got to Lakers Twitter because the people that exposed him on Lakers Twitter let the rest of the world know, oh, damn. So that was a fluke all-star. Oh, damn. So he can't play defense. I'm mad.
I think the Warriors will. But
no, they said they were sitting tight.
Nah, y'all gonna get Kuminga back, man. That's another one of them guys, man.
Oh, you'll piss him off. I think that's worse than Pascal to him.
Can we talk about this? Because they didn't understand my take when I said it when me, Damo, and Sage did the playback stream. Mm-hmm. I had the Kuminga take about him being out the league. Oh. And I think I swear to God, I've never seen a comment get this much traction on like our platform in like such a short time. The top comment on that thing has like 100 and something likes.
Damn, like
that says.
No, y'all talked about Kuminga. My bad.
Yeah. Oh, we had a good little stream. I ain't gonna lie. It was a good.
I just thought he's like the next OG Anunoby. Like, who do y'all think Kuminga is? You know.
So this thing says from TSO Kappa, Omar implying Kuminga and Moody wouldn't be in the league if it wasn't for the Warriors is pure comedy to me. 102 with 17 replies. 102 like 70 reply, all of them. This is why he's stupid at basketball.
Oh, fuck.
Now, I start asking them questions, and I say, well, what happens if he gets drafted to, like, the Pistons or something? What do y'all think he would be? Them. Oh, he'd be like Killian Hayes. And then my follow-up is, now, don't we think Killian Hayes shouldn't be in the league? Shut the fuck up!
Not too much, man. If you set some Kuminga screens and a couple of a couple of Moody lives.
Some Moody lives with Kuminga.
Some Moody lives and Kuminga screens, man. You tripping.
No, but I don't want to take it too far from the conversation that Damo posed. Pascal Siakam is expensive. I don't know what the price is, but it sounds very Atlanta Hawkish for us to go seek him. But I'm just hoping that somebody gets fooled about DeJounte Murray. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I feel like their asking price for Pascal was probably like they need a 2. Like those teams that you named before, where it was the Mavs and a number 2 option. It feels like if he's that expensive, that means I feel like the Mavericks went into that trade and there was no way they was walking out of it without giving up Kyrie in that sense. Or the Kings went into that trade, I guess. But even the Kings walked in. Well, I don't think they asked for. I think everybody knows you can't touch that one.
Well,
that's crazy.
Next name.
But for a fact, the Kings didn't walk out that trade, and Domantas Sabonis was like not a name that was like they had to give up Sabonis or Malik Monk and everyone like type shit. So makes sense. So Sage, I know the Hawks aren't y'all's necessary team, but how do y'all feel about the fire sale in Atlanta?
Shit, I kind of like it. I ain't gonna lie. Look, I'm usually for your number one guy is untouchable, but at this point, I'm not saying let him go. I'm saying it went from boy, fuck you to Trae for what? like you ain't gonna like 30% odds. You're gonna have to come with one hell of an offer, but For what, nigga? It went for it, but earlier you weren't picking up that phone call. But in general, I don't even want them to necessarily move on from Trey Young. I think that's a lot of NBA hype beast, my league ass ideology. But everybody else, yeah, you can get the fuck. I don't understand. I somehow tricked my own brain to thinking Clint Capella isn't there. How much I'm like, yo, Clint Capella should be gone. I've literally be like, yo, is he still there? And then I'll see him do something. I'm like, oh yeah, he should get the fuck out of here. DeJounte Murray, 100%. It just didn't pan out. You're not going to get the same value that you got trying to get him. Understand that. Don't do any dickhead shit. Just trade him. It's better than a donut. Literally. Sadiq Bey, he can go. Really, anybody on the roster. I don't want to waste too much time here. Anybody on the roster can go. You can either go for draft picks. You can go for players that can pair well with Trey Young. But this is one of them situations where you're hitting the button and you're probably going to lose regardless. But you're in a situation where you're dangerously mid. And that's never good, especially when you have a guy that's likely going to drag you a bit further than you typically are. So as a result, you're just going to be mid, lose in that cycle. It's never a good thing, especially when it's a player. It's one thing if it's a coach. Mild spoiler to my hot take or whatever the day potentially. But it's a player. Oh, yeah. You might want to change that up.
I just think with what they can move at this point and what they can get in return for what they can move if they wanted to build around Trey Young, it would take a lot for them to get back to like Eastern Conference Finals contender perennially. So I feel like at this point, for me, man, the Trey Young era is over. It was a good ride. Let's blow it up. It's time for a new core, man. Atlanta needs a new face.
I can't wait till we start talking about Boston and what Colin Coward said about Jason Tatum. Because
that's why I said I ain't on that ship now. I literally am like, look, there's no such thing as hell no. But no, I mean, but absolute blow up, damn.
It would just take a lot. It would just take a lot for them to be like perennial contenders.
No,
at this point, you're just gonna be a NBA team, and if you're fine being a NBA team, hey, let's keep it pushing.
I don't think it would take a lot. I think that they just fell for the trap in which people said that they felt like would fall for the trap a long time ago, and a lot of teams have fallen for this trap. 67 times throughout NBA history. You had a fluky run, and you did not assess your timeline properly, so you went for it before your rebuild was properly assessed, and in your attempts to go for it, you realize you didn't really have anything to, like, you didn't have a real leg to stand on besides Trey Young. Like, your leg to stand on was Trey Young, but other than that, you didn't have real legs to stand on. Clint Capella was old. John Collins wasn't it. Kevin Huerter wasn't it. DeAndre Hunter wasn't it. Like, all these people weren't it. But you should have continued to rebuild. Take that fluky year. Get some playoff experience for those. Evaluate who you really keep, but like sell then. But they just did what a lot of teams did and just rushed the process. Low-key like the Knicks too. Like, oh shit, we made the playoffs. All right, let's go spend $1 billion on Jalen Brunson.
No signings.
Let's go trade for OG Anunoby. They'll probably do something else this offseason as well, just to like speed the process up. But really, y'all had a fluky run to get into the playoffs. Randall isn't that. And y'all need to just take a step back and rebuild.
Yeah, but I feel like for the Hawks, like they're not even what the Knicks are in terms of being a perennial playoff, like a solid playoff team. So it's like, I don't know, like y'all like at a dead end. I feel like, I don't know. But
that's today. I guess we're only talking about today. That's today though, because yesterday the roles were reversed, and it's not even like, what are the Knicks right now? What seed are the Knicks?
Well, I'm not even saying the Knicks are like on some trajectory to win a championship, but I'm just saying if the idea for keeping Trey Young is, hey, let's just be a decent playoff team for X amount of years just to keep the fans happy, even that road is like, I don't know. It would take a lot from the point that y'all are at.
I just think I just think that they didn't assess the rebuild properly the first time. You need to take a full step back. And I think that's what they're saying. No, I think that's what they're saying. Apparently that's what they're saying. Like, they're trying to take a few steps back, get some lottery balls, and reassess, starting with the guy that's like 25 years old, and just kind of build from there. Although I am a proponent of tanking, it is hard to replicate a good bounce on the lottery balls. So if you did get a good bounce on the lottery balls, one that performs at the level of Trey Young, until he's exhausted, you shouldn't be exhausted, to be honest with you.
Pause if needed. I'm gonna say
that is crazy.
Yeah, man. Come on, man. What's going on here? I'm gonna say, the Hawks, looking at it right now, they made a trade for DeLon Wright, and then they made some other trade for Kevin Knox, but they did get a pick, so I guess there's somewhat a little bit of leeway there. But for the most part, what I'm looking at is a team that, outside of one major detail that I'm leaving out intentionally because it's a crazy detail, is they basically carbon copied the roster, especially when you give context that they decided to go on and pay John Collins max dollars. So they really was like, yeah, this is the core. And it wasn't. So sometimes you make those plays, you miss those plays. The question is, how do you respond? I love the idea that they at least finally have the self-awareness to be like, yo, this shit is not gonna fucking work. Because you know what? As slow as the Hawks seem, this is not the slowest. Case in point, the Washington Wizards literally a year ago. My God. John Wall and Beal was cooking up in 2015, and they said, fuck it, we gonna have Beal be the star of the show for like literally damn near 10 more years. And the shit, man, hey, shout out to the Hawks here. Look, you fucked up. Hopefully they can make this right, but man, it's just sad to see, because I really just want a team with Trey Young and defense on there. And they keep going for this ultra lord offense thing during the rebuild. I guess if that's the next pivot of this discussion, whatever assets you get, whatever draft picks you decide to draft, I'm tired of seeing the Hawks essentially be like top 5 in 3-point percentage. Let's accept 10, 15. Let's get that defense up, man. Let's start locking up. Let's start hiding Trey Young, and let's see if you can hide Trey Young. On that note, let's see what happens.
I'm definitely feeling like Souls is bugging a little bit with the Trey Young and rebuild the entire ship. Obviously, get everyone out there not named Trey Young. Business reasons and just logic alone. Yeah, that's your franchise point guard. He's good enough to be a franchise point guard. He's good enough to sell tickets. He's good enough to sell jerseys. He's good enough to be exciting. Is he going to be the best player in your team if you're about to win? Probably not, but I don't think they're trying to win anytime soon. This is your time to really build upon that. Definitely should trade everyone. I'm keeping Trey. I'm not gonna let him go for anything. Not gonna.
But that's what I'm saying though. If their goal again, like no troll, is just to be a NBA team that keeps on being a playoff team, but is never really considered a serious contender, then yeah, keep Trey Young. But if the goal is to build a new culture around a new franchise player that could potentially actually, give them a potential that they just couldn't have with Trey Young leading the way, and I would be pro blowing up Trey Young. But if you think, hey, you're fine. Hey, let's just beat the Knicks for a couple of years.
I think me and Dom about to have the same question. So do you see any franchise that can make Trey Young work as the number one or anything like that? Because that's what it sounded like that you're not really a fan of. Because other than that, I'd be like, shit, why wouldn't it be y'all, especially if you're rebuilding every other piece? At least you got one.
I think it depends on the team and again their goal. Like Trey Young could be a number one option on a team that's just trying to win, trying to build winning culture. Same thing with like what Jalen Brunson and De'Aaron Fox are. But if the goal is to win a championship, I don't think Trey Young can be a number one, unfortunately.
And that's fine for him not to be a number one, but you don't think the Hawks can do what we've seen the Timberwolves do recently in terms of with Cat. I'm one of the people that was pro, you got to trade Cat. Well, hey, F me. Them niggas are the number one seed in the West. And they built, instead of building around Cat, they used Cat to build around someone else. Now, it took them finding Ant Edwards, and it's not like you about to just find Ant Edwards everywhere, but you still have the ability to still look for that next guy, trade all your assets, and still be in that position and keep a Trey Young. There is a reality with that. If he understands what you're trying to do, I think the only way a player will be a part of that is if you have them in that situation, have that conversation with them very early on so they know what's coming. I don't think a player wants to be ambushed by, okay, we're about to rebuild and we're just going to put you on the back burner. Hey, I'm planning for you to be the number 2 for this team in 3 years. No, let him know above time. Let him be a part of that process so he feels like he has a hand in it and he feels more like it's still his team, I guess, in a sense.
So Cat was drafted 2015, right? And then Ant was 2020?
Yep.
So if Trey was drafted 2018, that would have happened. Like what you're talking about, I feel like would have happened already. And maybe that's just me like following the linear path that the Timberwolves did, but I mean I see that too. That's just my opinion. But
That's not a
Fair.
worse
that could
thing
work.
to have.
That could work.
It's just like, whoa.
Shout out to Taco for the 5 gifted, by the way. Big Taco.
Ain't trash and that shit.
But I think also if you do that, and we can move on from this, but I think you also if you do that, hey, do it. Understand what's coming down the pipeline in the next drafts. And to be honest with you, I don't see something in a reasonable draft that I could be like, all right, if I just sold everything and tanked it out for that next guy, I see it in the immediate. And somebody would have to tell me what that is. We already missed out on, the Chets, the Wimbies from this draft. If you believe it to be coming out of the next draft, I would ask you where.
Isn't there like a 7-1 dude?
Alex Sarr. He's definitely nice, but I don't think they're going to be in a situation to get him. He should go 1, but top 3, and the Hawks definitely are in a situation where that's going to be their pick, and I doubt you're about to get that level of a pick from anyone else for anything on this team.
Hypothetically, if they had one Damo and Omar, because I know y'all watch college, if they had number 1, is there a guy in this draft or the next draft even where you're like, all right, you know what? Fuck Trey Young. We got this dude. Where the future is bright. Is there anybody like that?
Well, I'm saying fuck Trey Young.
I'm literally being hyperbolic. Fair.
I know,
yeah, I'm being hyperbolic.
If you're gonna fuck Trey Young,
I don't believe
immediately. I'm gonna say no, not nothing to say. Fuck Trey Young. Nah, not at least not right now. Is there players who potentially can become that? I think so. I think he's probably like a couple players where it's like, okay, in hindsight, now knowing what he is now, we should have did it. Maybe 1 or 2. But off the top of my head, outside of Sarr in this draft, and I will say he's the only guy that I think is like worthy of being dubbed a future superstar. Other than that, Maxis Bucelis I see him as a Franz Wagner, but that's Franz Wagner.
Yeah.
Good player, but I don't think you're about to get rid of Trey Young for Franz Wagner. And I'm not saying he's better than him. That's the type of player that he is. I would say next year, I want to say the Boozer twin is going to be in next year's draft. Carlos Boozer has twin sons. One is super nasty. Nigga, super nasty. The other one's a tall guard. I think that's Cameron Boozer. Cameron and Kate. Kate's the point guard, is a length point guard. He'll be in the league. But Cam is a dog. I like Cam. I don't like Cam enough to say fuck Trey Young.
I don't think they're in the next. I don't think they're in 25. I think they're in 26.
26? You think it's 26?
Cam Boozer does sound familiar, actually. I wanted to not lie, but I actually think
I'm looking at it now. Oh no, 25. 25. I think that it's an indictment on you as an organization that has a 30-10 guy, and you can't figure out how to make him work. Not saying that he has to be 30-10, but you have a guy that has the ability to put 30-10, and you can only produce what you've produced. But that's the sign of like a mismanaged, middling team that's filled with like bad management decisions, like from the top to the bottom. So this nigga's averaging 20, 28, and 11 right now. You can't figure you can't say to yourself, you know what? Let's get a Jaren Jackson type, an Evan Mobley type, a Jared Allen type, an Anthony. And I know some of these names I'm naming, like I'm about to say Anthony Davis type, which is pretty extreme. But we know what I'm saying. Let's get like some athletic bigs that could do a couple of different things on offense.
Bigs that can stretch the floor. That's literally what you need. You need 2 of them to be fair, but yeah.
Niggas have had Clint Capella for 8 years, and this is the other side of the career, Clint Capella. And then also have had an undersized forward that doesn't do anything on offense for 4 years. Like, I just don't. If you literally, like, no bullshit. If we took the name off of him, and again, we don't have to spend this much time on Trey Young and the Hawks. If you took the name off of him and I gave you a guy who was 28, 43 from the field, 37 from 3, 86 from the line, 3 boards, 11 assists, 2 steals, 4 turnovers, and you say you can't figure out what to do with him, like you're getting worse. Every year you're progressively getting worse. You're going from like at one point maybe 7th, 6th seed to now you're like out of even the play-in. They implemented the play-in to give you an opportunity to get into the playoffs, and you can't even figure that out. That's not the play. That's not the player.
Well, let me
That is
just
true.
make it clear too. When I said blow it up, that includes management to me. Like this guy can't make it work. So it's not like just a Trey Young thing. You can't win with Trey Young. It's not just a coaching thing. I think for me, they need a whole new culture built by a whole new dude.